Hello and welcome to the first ever, the inaugural, the debut EstablishTheRun.com NFL betting show. My name is Adam Levitan, as always joined by Evan Silva, and today we are here to have some fun ahead of week one. You guys know us. We are all in on fantasy. We've been all in on fantasy for the last 15 years or so, but we know that betting sides, we know that betting totals is good fun, and we know that we can beat props. And most importantly, we know that this kind of show is what so many people have been asking for over the last, year or two. And of course, we aim to please our beloved audience. Evan, how's it going today?
Hey, Adam, I just wanted to congratulate you. I was looking at the promotional photo, for this show, the little thumbnail photo of you. And I just wanted to give you some credit for, your advancement from being in high school a pot smoking hippie. So I'm proud of you, man.
Yes, from Hugh Erection, a comment here on YouTube. He says Levitan's picture features a female hand doing research for the PSM model. Shout out to me. Oh God, yeah, that picture is really my claim to fame. I really did have good hair at that time. Okay, two things before we get into this show. First, if you are playing DFS or you're betting props this season, our in-season package is designed to save you a ton of time while also ensuring that you have the best chance to win. Like, we're just grinding so hard on projections. Silva is grinding so hard on his matchups column. Our props team is grinding so hard. And I know I say this all the time, usually jokingly, I really think the product is underpriced grossly. I know I'm biased, but still. So check out, if you haven't checked out our content schedule yet, this is it right here, content schedule. If you want to subscribe, obviously, go up to the subscribe tab, click here. Second, this show is brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks.com. You guys know me. I absolutely love player props. PrizePicks is essentially a DFS platform that specializes in player props. And I think what sets them apart is huge menu, number one. And number two, they put up lines so early, like Monday and Tuesday, really early. Now, I understand we need to win, 58, 60% to get there in this format. But given how early the lines are up and how, soft player props are in general, I think we can get there. We're posting a table each week to compare the ETR projections right here to the prize pick lines. So you guys can check that out if you're interested there. We put some language in here about median versus mean. I think that's an important thing to think about when you're playing there. If you want to try prize picks this week, they do have a 100% instant sign up to 100% instant deposit bonus and some ridiculous can't lose lines, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I.e., starting tomorrow, they're giving away Patrick Mahomes for 1 yard. Use promo code ETR to get the best deal, or the link in the show notes. Again, ETR to get the best deal and the instant deposit bonus. All right, let's get into it here, Evan, with week one. And we're going to do a bit of a draft here. We're going to compete a bit, and we'll keep our record and see who wins here. Do a draft of sorts, myself versus Evan Walters, a.k.a. Evan Silva. What we'll do is we'll go back and forth, do a draft of 3 games each, 3 sides or totals or team totals each. We'll each take 3 things. Whoever has the best record at the end wins. Can't take the same thing twice. I will go ahead and give Evan the first pick here. Evan, what is your number 1 first draft pick play that's on the board? And I will bring up the board here while you go ahead and talk.
I'm going to go with Buffalo to cover 6.5 against Pittsburgh. These teams met last year. Ben Roethlisberger really struggled. It was around week 11. Ben Roethlisberger really struggled, threw a couple of picks, 5.1 yards per pass attempt. And that was against a Bills defense that really wasn't playing that great last year. They looked better this year. They added a couple of pass rushers in the first and second rounds of the draft. They're bringing back Jerry Hughes, Mario Addison. I think Ed Oliver in the middle could have a breakout year. And I think that it starts against this Pittsburgh offensive line. Big Ben actually publicly recently stated, hey, we're a work in progress entering the season. They're starting a 4th-round rookie on his blind side, Dan Moore, and they're also starting a rookie at center. So I think that there are advantages for the Bills defense here. And then offensively, I think the Bills have major advantages as well. We know they're going to throw the crap out of the ball. And the Steelers secondary they're worried about it enough that they just traded for Ahkello Witherspoon. They lost Bud Dupree. They lost Steven Nelson, who was their best cornerback last year. Joe Hayden is really getting up there in age. They lost Mike Hilton, a really strong slot corner. So the Bills are going to be able to spread them out, take advantage of those those shortcomings in the Pittsburgh secondary. And I think that the Bills might actually stomp them. They're just a way better team than Pittsburgh is.
Yeah. And from a DFS perspective, which we'll talk about on Friday, I mean, Josh Allen, from a ceiling perspective, even in this matchup against the Steelers, as I tweeted out the other day, Mahomes has a better base projection for us. Josh Allen showing a better ceiling projection for sure. All right. Evan takes Buffalo 6.5, laying the 6.5 with his first pick. For my first pick, I'm going to go ahead and take the over in the Carolina Jets game, over 44.5 here in Carolina and the Jets. I think two underrated quarterbacks, man. I really do. I think Sam Darnold getting away from Adam Gase and getting better weapons is going to be a big, big difference in Sam Darnold's game. Getting to Joe Brady, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, Christian McCaffrey. I think that people often think of quarterback play in a vacuum when in fact the weapons make a huge, huge, huge difference. So I think that this Carolina offense is going to be explosive. And the Jets, man, like Zach Wilson's going to sling it. And he might throw some picks. Maybe he'll throw a pick 6, which would be good for the over. But man, I mean, Zach Wilson is going to sling it. He has some weapons too. I think Corey Davis is going to ball out. If Jamison Crowder misses, I think Elijah Moore has a really good chance to ball out too. And so their weapons are pretty reasonable as well. So this total is really, really low for today's NFL environment. We saw overs last year just come out absolutely smoking. And maybe that had something to do with the pandemic. And maybe that had something to do with the officiating. But still, man, 44.5 in today's NFL is very, very low. So for my first pick, I'm going over the 44.5 Jets and Panthers. I'm really just trying to appease Evan, the president of the Overs Club over there, by starting off my first pick with an over.
Yeah, I like it. I took that earlier at 43.5, but I still like it at 44 and a half. I think the scheme change for the Jets is gonna help right away. The post Gase effect. I'm gonna take the Titans Cardinals over 52.5. Now I bet this at 51.5 and 52. So it's creeped up a little bit, but I still think it's not high enough. I think that this could be 35-30, something like that. Both of these secondaries are in really bad shape. I did a tweet earlier, and Mike Clay, kind of chimed in, and so did Richard Sherman, that there is just there's a group of teams that have just awful secondaries entering week 1. Like the injuries haven't even hit yet, and both of these teams qualify for that. The Titans used the 22nd overall pick on Caleb Fairley. He did not even win a starting job out of training camp. And then on Arizona's side, they had a bad secondary before Malcolm Butler, who was supposed to be their number 1 cornerback, retired days ago. Okay, so that is really, really problematic. And the Titans, they have this, they've recently been a very run-heavy team. But I think that it would be foolish for them to come out and run the football, and open the game running the football. They can use Derrick Henry to salt it away in the 3rd and 4th quarters. But I think it would be stupid for their new OC with a healthy Julio Jones, with mostly healthy AJ Brown. I know he missed some time in camp with a knee injury and he was out of practice the other day, but it sounded like it was just rest. To not come out attacking Arizona in the air. And on the other side, Vance Joseph, the Cardinals defensive coordinator, he likes to blitz. He likes to play man coverage. If he tries to do that stuff, they're going to be really short-handed on the back end. Anytime you're blitzing, you're pulling a guy out of coverage and using him to go rush the passer. So if he tries to pull that stuff, Julio, even Ferkser in the middle of the field, Josh Reynolds, some of the ancillary guys, those guys could eat as well. I just think offensively, and then the way that the Cardinals will be able to exploit the Titans' problems in the secondary, I think they're going to come out and playing a lot of 4 wide. That's they're built to do that, with Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore as the slots, AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins outside. That's what they are built for at this stage of the season. And that could get more defensive backs onto the field for the Titans, more bad defensive backs. So I think that this is going to be a shootout. It should be the chalk game in DFS.
As expected, Evan Walters, aka Evan Silva, aka Evan Overs, firing at the over in the Cardinals and Titans game. That line has crept up from a pace perspective too. I mean, these two teams played at a really fast pace, both of them last year. We know the Cardinals are going to play very fast. We'll see what the Titans do without Arthur Smith. I do think they'll continue to play pretty fast. You can read more about pace in Thorman's article on the site, which is always, I mean, great information, but my God, Thurman's like such a good writer too. It's crazy. He's so funny in there with the writing. All right. Evan over 52.5 Cardinals Titans for his second pick. For my second pick, I'm going to go under on this Seahawks Colts game. And we talked about this a while ago on the podcast. Like, I'm actually confused. And I got 50, some 51s. Now I have to lay minus 115 on 49.5. You might be able to find 50, 50 and a half somewhere out there. I would encourage people to really shop. I'm just bringing up DK Sportsbook here as kind of a home base, but I would really, really encourage people to shop around for lines. But yeah, I mean, I must be missing something on this Colts Seahawks total, because I don't think this Colts offense is going to be explosive or fast or very good. And I think the Seahawks will be, but man, when it comes down to it, I still think they want to put the ball in Chris Carson's belly a ton. So for this to be up at 49.5, 50 is a lot of points for two teams, I think, who ideally want to run in this game. So yeah, that was one that stuck out to me a while ago. Evan, I know you don't like to take unders, but did you have any thoughts on the total 49.5 in Seahawks Colts?
No, I mean, but I get where you're coming from. I mean, I think that the Seahawks finished last season really strongly on playing defense as well. And the Colts, these injuries, like I know that Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz are going to play. How healthy are they actually going to be? Athleticism is a big part of Carson Wentz's game when he has played well, which it's been a long time since he's played well. And all of a sudden you're pulling away one of his primary strengths as a player. If he has a loss of mobility, I mean, he's going to be a sitting duck in that pocket with, I don't know who they starting at left tackle, Julian Davenport. Like that's going to be an issue for them.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So for my second pick, I got to take since we're going with DraftKings lines here, even though I think we might be able to find better, I'll go with under 49.5 Seahawks Colts. All right, Evan, last pick here for you, third and final pick of week one.
Yeah. And, I almost took an under, but
oh my God.
But I didn't feel comfortable. Okay. It was way out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to pound the Raiders on Monday night. I don't know what's up with this line. I mean, it was minus 4.5 all off season in favor of Baltimore. That seems like it's way too low. It should be like 7.5. I think. I mean, the talent disparity here is major. And I know the Ravens have had some injuries in camp, losing Rashad Bateman. They didn't have Rashad Bateman last year. So it's not really a minus. I think Mark Andrews is going to come out and no one on the Raiders is going to be able to cover Mark Andrews. They're in bad enough shape at linebacker that they signed KJ Wright, who spent the entire offseason, hoping that someone would pick him up. He's 31 years old. He's lost several steps. I want to see Mark Andrews running routes right into KJ Wright's face mask, because that's going to be a nightmare all game for that old man out there. I don't like the Raiders really struggle to rush the passer. The Ravens they added Kevin Zeitler up front. They've got Ronnie Stanley back. He had a healthy training camp. That's a very big development for Baltimore.
I never feel comfortable taking road favorites. I do think that the market has adjusted somewhat to how often home underdogs were hitting in these primetime games. Like, it used to be Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football was just a printing press because the public was so on road favorites. I think the market has adjusted now, though. And as Evan mentioned, this line's actually gone the other way a little bit. 4.5 fives are down to 4. You can see here on DK Sportsbook.
One thing I think we can feel confident about every year under John Harbaugh, like the Ravens take the preseason seriously. They come out and they start fast. I mean, last year they boat raced the Browns in week 1. It turned out the Browns were a pretty good team last year. So I think that the Ravens they should take care of business. Can I give out the under, though, that I was thinking about?
Sure. Okay. Bonus picker, not for the official record. For those of you guys, for the content team keeping track, not the official record here. Evan's official pick was Ravens minus 4. But go ahead with a bonus, Evan.
Yeah, it was the Texans team total under at 20.5. I know that it was 22 at one point on FanDuel. I don't know if it has moved. But I mean, if you can find anything, I think over 20, I think that's pretty good because I mean, you win anything 20 or under. So, and I think it's going to be a struggle for them offensively. You know, it worries me a little bit that the Jags are unsettled in their secondary, and the Texans do have two guys with big play potential at receiver in Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins. I'm just looking for, devil's advocate to my bet here. But I think that the Texans are going to just struggle to maintain possession of the ball, let alone to score points. They're going to be that bad offensively. And defensively, I mean, they're going to get, people are going to run all over them. Just like they did last year. They gave up the most fantasy points to running backs in the entire league. Their defensive coordinator is Lovie Smith. I mean, this guy, he seems like Lovie Smith. I mean, and look, he had a great run, in Tampa Bay and in St. Louis. But this guy, he seems like he would have been one of the coaches coaching in the AAF or maybe even the XFL. But here he is after going 17-9, 17-39 in 5 great years as the Illinois Fighting Illini's head coach, now coordinating an NFL defense. It's good to be a crony, isn't it? It's good to have friends in high places.
Yeah, the cocoon is strong. Google Evan Silva cocoon if you want to learn more about what's going on in the NFL with cronyism and cocoons. I mean, we talked about it on the podcast, I think on Tuesday. I mean, expansion level talent on the Houston Texans, literally expansion level at best. Evan even suggested that maybe the Alabama Crimson Tide could beat this Texans team. I don't know if I want to go that far, but maybe. And I people say the Lions are bad. I think if the Lions played the Texans, the Lions would whoop them, but we'll see. Okay. For my last official play here in our draft, I am going to get ahead of what I think will be a very good team this year. I have them to make the playoffs. I have them to win the division. I have their win total over. It is the Washington football team. And I know there were some pick'ems out there. There was some +1. Now, of course, as we do the show, it's -1. So I'll go ahead and lay the -1 on the Washington football team. I don't know if the line has moved because it's Austin Eckler stuff. We'll see what his status is. Maybe that's caused a very slight move, although I would really be surprised if a running back moved the line much. But man, this Washington football team defense, I think, can be the best in the entire NFL. Longtime listeners know how I feel about Ryan Fitzpatrick, one of the captains of Team Sex, is going to give them so much more vertical offense than did Alex Smith or whatever else they were putting out there last year. Obviously, I think that they've done really good things on offense. I wish Curtis Samuel was going to play in this game. He's not, but maybe that's a big chance for De'Ami Brown to get out there and make some big plays for them. And so I like the Chargers too. I wish this was a better spot, better opener for the football team, but we only have to lay -1 on a team that I think has a really good chance to win the division, really good chance to make some noise in the playoffs. And so I want to get out in front of Washington football team, who I think is still underrated. I do like the Chargers though, man. Improved offensive line. And, generally speaking, I just have some concerns about the Herbert regression, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Washington football team -1 will be my official 3rd pick. All right.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to mention Brian Bulaga, Chargers right tackle, who, has struggled to stay healthy for several years in a row now. He's been dealing with a hip flexor. That's the side on which Montez Sweat primarily plays. I mean, these two outside edge rushers for Washington are nasty. Chase Young and Montez Sweat. That's definitely a concern there. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be, sort of more of a defensive slugfest. Mm-hmm. Low scoring, old school game. But yeah, I like the pick.
Okay. Quickly, before we get out of here, just wanted to talk about some props. So let me go ahead and pull down this screen and pull up the prop screen. So this is part of our in-season package here for those of you guys that have it. Let me go to... So what we're doing is our props team, and it's me and 3 or 4 other guys, 3, 4, 5 other guys who are grinding so hard looking for these props, looking for these soft prop lines. When I bet something, we push it out to our Discord. Make sure that you have notifications on in Discord. If you're a sub, we've taken Mac Jones over 28.5 attempts, Aaron Jones under 16.5 rush attempts, Raheem Mostert under 16.5 rush attempts, Tyson Williams, this one was just a layup, under 16.5 receiving yards. And then just this morning, we took Javonte Williams over 6.5 attempts. I think there's some more thinner stuff out there we haven't taken yet. And Evan, I want to get your take on some of these. You can get Mac Jones over 218.5 yards on FanDuel. I think that's interesting. I think it's going to be low scoring, but I think their throw rate's going to be much better with Mac Jones versus Cam Newton. Any thoughts on Mac Jones over 218 yards?
I just wrote that game up last night, and I think that the Patriots are really built to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my one concern with that. But, 218 yards is nothing. So,
yeah. Another one for tonight that I like, and maybe it's me, the age model, Rob Gronkowski under 2.5 catches is plus 125. They have OJ Howard back. I think Cam Brate might play a little bit, and they're going to ease Gronk in. I mean, they want him ready for the playoffs for the Super Bowl run. And so I'd be surprised if they really overutilize Rob Gronkowski, especially in the pass game. So Rob Gronkowski under 2.5 plus 125, I thought was fine. And also, speaking of tight end, Kyle Pitts over 40.5 yards. I think it's a little thin and over on a rookie, but man, I think Kyle Pitts over 40.5 is pretty strong too.
Yeah. Also, Eagles looks like they're going to be without Rodney McLeod in that game. A pretty critical safety. So I think that works to Kyle Pitts' benefit. The Falcons refused to play their starters in the preseason. Barely played Kyle Pitts. I think that there's an element of surprise that could be there on Atlanta's offensive side. The Eagles don't know what to prepare for here. I mean, this is, a brand new – there's no tape of this offense, and I think it's going to be way different than what Arthur Smith ran in Tennessee.
Scott says Javonte Williams prop is no longer on DraftKings. Yeah, so this is what's going to happen. That's why you need to be in the Discord. You need to be a subscriber. You need to get into the Discord, and then as soon as the alert goes up, you need to get it because, these lines are so soft. They know they're getting beat on them. Once we start taking it, they just take them down once we start pounding them on it. Last thing I wanted to mention. Oh, Evan, I got one for you that you may not have seen yet. Tyler Boyd, who I know you like this week, over 50.5 receiving yards. We currently have him projected for 64.5 receiving yards, but you can get Boyd over 50.5. I think that's one that you'll like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we get out of here, I want to again reiterate the PrizePicks free square. Starting midnight tonight, they're setting the Patrick Mahomes prop line at 0.5 passing yards. In other words, they're just giving you the first leg of the parlay. Max bet is only $25, but still free money. So again, if you get on PrizePicks, promo code ETR, you get the Mahomes deal and you get the 100% sign up bonus. There is a PrizePicks channel also in our Discord, and you can see our projections versus PrizePick lines continually updating on the site as well. All right, before I get out of here, corporate is telling me, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be doing this show every week. Corporate is insisting that you smash the like button and that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. We'll be back to do this again next week. From time to time, we might even bring on some guests. We'll see how it goes. And let us know what you thought of this. We're obviously not professional sports bettors. We're just here to have fun as we get ready.
Speak for yourself.
As we're here to have fun as we get ready for the week 1 fantasy and DFS slate. For producer Adam, for Evan, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.